Hi, everyone. It is so exciting to chat with you. I have been dreaming about travel so much lately, especially with it being colder and yucky out. Oh, just to get away would be fantastic. So, I have been thinking and reliving my trips to Hawaii. Hawaii is one of my favorite places in the world to travel, and it's really hard to narrow it down to just one reason why Hawaii is amazing. My first trip to Hawaii was back in 2014. I was able to go to Oahu and I took my mom with me. So her and I got to go to Oahu. We got to go to Hawaii together, had a bunch of fun. We just had such a great time. We would lay by the pool. We rented a car and went up on the North Shore, saw a bunch of turtles, and of course, we had to get the shave ice in Hawaii, which is where it's like famous. Shave ice is like where it originated. It's just awesome. If you haven't had shave ice before, it's kind of like a snow cone, but the ice is just a higher quality. And then they pour different syrups on it. You can also get it with like ice cream in it. It's oh, it's so amazing. Even though it's so cold out, I really want some shave ice right now. Um, yeah, and that first trip to Hawaii, I learned a lot. And let me tell you, I travel and I make all the mistakes on my own trips because I don't want you to have any issues on your trips. So, one of the mistakes I made on that first trip was we only stayed for 4 nights. Now, I live in the Midwest. It takes us about 15 hours to fly to Hawaii. So, big chunk of a day just to get there. And then I only stayed 4 nights. Um, would not recommend that. Um, there's a 6 hour time change between Michigan and Hawaii. So it took me a really long time to get acclimated. And then the minute that we got acclimated, we were flying back. So my body did not know what to do on that trip. So if you are going to Hawaii, I'm going to recommend you go for a longer period of time, especially if you're from the East Coast or the Midwest. Um, those short trips are just they're really hard on you. The other thing that I learned on that first trip was you always rent your car in advance. Um, I didn't get us a rental car for our trip while we were there. Before we left, I waited until we got there. So once you're on property, the rental car people, they know you want a car. So they're not really going to wheel and deal with you. So the best options for rental cars are definitely getting that in advance. I paid more for my rental car, but it was still a really good experience. It was really fun because we had that car and we were able to get out and see things. So, one of the amazing things that I love about Hawaii is that it's very tropical and you feel like, you're in an international destination and, you've flown halfway around the world to find all of the scenery that they have in Hawaii, but you haven't. From the West Coast, it's only about a 5.5, 6 hour flight. So it's not a world away. You don't need a passport to get there. But the islands are just amazing and so much beauty to be seen. There's tall mountains and dormant volcanoes and cliffs, and it's just breathtaking. I never understood the, draw of going to Hawaii until I went myself. So definitely having a rental car and getting out. It's not one of those beach stays where you just want to plant yourself at the resort and never leave. The whole thing about being in Hawaii is it's so easy to get out and explore. That's what you want to do. You want to see what the islands have to offer. You want to see what the culture is. You want to really experience the destination, eat at the little local shrimp trucks that are parked on side the road, and go to those different mom and pop restaurants that are just so delicious because everything is so fresh in Hawaii. So that was my first trip. Learned a lot. On my second trip, I was able to bring hubby along with me, and we had a blast. We went to Maui, which don't tell the other islands, but Maui's my favorite. There is just something I've never been to a destination before where I feel like I left a piece of myself there. And people always said that to me, and I'd be like, yeah, whatever. They're just being, overly dramatic. But no, a piece of my heart is on Maui. It There's so much that is just fantastic about it. I feel it's the island, it's the right size. It's not too big, it's not too small. It's got a couple of larger cities. There is a Walmart and a Costco on the island. um, in the Kahului area where the airport is. And then there's all these smaller towns along the way. So you can still feel like you get authentic Hawaii, especially when you're over in Paia or if you go past Hana. Going up country is a fantastic experience as well. Um, it's one island that just has so many different experiences. And the best beaches are on Maui. If you define best beach as being, white and sandy and, turquoise water, Maui's the place to be. Um, yeah, and it's just an amazing experience on Maui. One of the fun things that hubby and I did is we had our rental car because I knew from the first trip that I wanted a rental car the whole time. We drove up Haleakala, which is the tallest spot on Maui, the dormant volcano, um, and watched the sunrise. So we had to leave our hotel at about like 2 a.m., which is super early. But when you do the conversion, 2 a.m. Hawaiian time to Eastern time is like 8 a.m. So it's not that bad if you do it in the beginning of the trip. And it was just such an interesting experience and almost one of those like life-changing awe moments because we drove up in the middle of the night to the top and then we watched the sunrise and you watch the sunrise above the clouds. It's a once in a lifetime experience. You don't see it a lot of places and it was just fantastic. But another thing I learned, bring warm clothes. Because even though Hawaii is like 85 degrees average year round, when you are, what is it, like 12,000 feet above sea level, it gets cold, especially at night. So bring warm clothes. Gotta bring warm clothes. And Maui, there's just so much that I love about Maui. Not to mention the winery. There's a winery on Maui, delicious wine. And the road to Hana, which if you have a really good relationship with your spouse, you can drive on your own. But the road to Hana, it's got like 59 one-lane bridges and like 600 plus curves. So it can be a little treacherous. So if you and your partners don't get along driving in the car together, don't drive the road to Hana by yourself. Have somebody take you because it's that back and forth and just switches and you really want to be able to experience and see all of the amazing scenery around you. So that would be my other tip is don't drive the road to Hana on your own unless you want a divorce or separate or never talk to those people again. Um, get a tour company to take you, get a private driver to take you. And you make a whole day of it, driving around the island and seeing all the different stops and there's fruit stands and all these mom and pop little places to stop and get food and different beverages. And it's just amazing. So this week I've been dreaming about Hawaii. It's just fantastic. It's awesome. You feel so relaxed there. There's so much to do, but it's unlike other trips. Like if you go to a theme park, there's so much to do and you feel like you have to do it all. In Hawaii, there's so much to do, but you can do it. You can't. You can lay on the beach. You can get up at 2 a.m. and go to see the sunrise. Um, you know, it's really one of those laid back island life experiences that if you haven't been there, you just don't get it. And I'm sorry. If you haven't been there yet, we got to get you to Hawaii. It is an amazing experience. Don't save it for when you retire. Go now. Go as soon as you can because you don't want to put it off for too long. Because Hawaii is one of those destinations you're going to want to go back. because there's 4 main islands, so much to see and do on each island. You're gonna want to keep going back. And I just love Hawaii. It's just fantastic. So what are you daydreaming about lately? What destinations are you thinking of going to when it's cold and yucky outside and you close your eyes? Where is your happy place? Let me know where that happy place is for you. My happy place right now is Hawaii. So I can't wait to hear where your happy place is, answer any other questions you have about Hawaii. I could talk for days about it. So if you want to talk more about Hawaii, let me know. I'm always willing to share the aloha spirit. So I hope you have a fantastic day and keep those daydreams happening.